Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good, good. I don't know why I put up my hood every time. You know how when you perform, you kind of do the same thing, and I think the consistency kind of is a thing. But yeah, I guess when it starts getting towards summer, I'll take off my hood. It is kind of cold, and I guess if I worked out before this in the morning, maybe I'll take off my hood. It's not as cold this morning as other mornings, and that's totally fine. I don't think I kept on the heater, and of course, I don't want to keep on the heater because it's a waste of you know. Okay, unless we are getting sick and everything like that, I don't think I need a heater. But whatever, I don't think the heater was on, and so I don't have to worry because I had warm blankets and I'm wearing my hood. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining me on this early morning. It is a little bit later than usual, and I'm on vacation, so I waking up a little bit later. But I did wake up really close to the regular time. I usually wake up at about 5 o'clock ish to kind of do this in the morning. I start with just a reminder. I just start off with my initial read through, and then I dictate what I felt about the verses. And I do have to say that this time I had a really hard time with these verses. They make sense once I went over commentary, but I tried to go through it and understand it by myself. And I got the gist of it, but I think there was nuances on it that uh the commentaries really helped me with. And so I don't have a I don't have the transcript of what thought initially, but I felt for myself, I feel like I should have my initial thoughts before I look up commentary and see how close I come to the understanding of the verses and my takeaways. And so that's what I am. So here we are with day 83. Let me see this. I should make it a little bit closer like that. There we go. There we go. Day 83. There we go like this. Proverbs day 83. Um chapters 13, 5 through 6 in the ESV. And I did put down these. Oh, I did it. I did. There we go. Okay. So here it goes. Proverbs 13, verses 5 through 6 in the ESV. The righteous hates falsehood, but the wicked brings shame and disgrace. Righteousness guards him whose way is blameless, but sin overthrows the wicked. Now, on first look, I, as you can see, I had a lot to say about it. Um, I don't know if I was just rambling and stuff, but I just didn't feel comfortable with everything I was saying because there's some ideas that are I was kind of like, what are you talking about? But um but the first again we have the subject, which is the righteous, and they hates falsehood. The wicked bring shame and disgrace. Righteousness wait, but sin. I was for verse 5, I feel like I was pretty close to the actual meaning of it. And I had this whole idea of there's like a visceral. Is that the word? Visceral? I'm gonna go ahead and visceral. Uh inward feeling rather than okay. There was a visceral effect. I think when I first initial and I didn't use the word visceral in my dictation, my kind of oral I want to call it oral vomit of everything that was coming out of my head when I look at the verses. And when I think of the righteous hates falsehood, I feel like for a person who is following Christ, a person who is following the ways of wisdom, look in the description on below for the baselines of wisdom. I feel like there's this visceral response to people who are deceptive or are liars or manipulators. That's not something I saw in the commentators, but manipulators. I feel like manipulation and lies are really close together. When you are a manipulator, you're kind of lying, or there's something about your. Hmm, let me look at this. What is the difference between a manipulator and a liar? Chill. Okay, so lying. So this is what it is. Lying is telling an untruth, a single act of deceit, while manipulation is a broader, often systematic tactic using various deceptive or unfair methods, including lying to control. Okay, so because manipulation is a part of lying is a part of manipulation, and lying in itself is being deceptive and everything like that. I feel like that's I understand. I initially or intuitively can know when someone is lying. Do I know that my son is lying all the time? No. But I think stubbornly teenagers kind of lie. And it has something to do with the second part of verse 5. But there's something about deceptiveness and lying it goes, it feels like it goes hand in hand. But righteous person I could personally feel it. And once the understanding of the knowledge of someone being manipulative or lying, it really has a visual reaction. I don't say they're triggered. Maybe triggered is too strong a word, but they know it. They feel, oh my gosh, there's something slimy. Is that a word you could use? Slimy about it? I don't know. It just feels doesn't feel right because it's not righteous. And so I don't know. And there okay, so it's a well, from the commentary, which really helped me out, was the moral rejection of lies, deception, and dishonesty. Morally, it kind of our body and our heart and everything in us rejects that when someone is being a liar, deceptive, or dishonest. Um, that means for a righteous person, integrity has to happen all the time. And when it doesn't happen, it's kind of like, what? Why? There's a response, this inner response. That's why I say visceral. That's the word of the day, visceral. What kind of things give you a visceral response? It's an inner response. You don't know why. Like for instance, yesterday, I was out with a boy or the guys that I'm discipling, and we went out to In-N-Out. It's funny when one of the guys. It was interesting watching him because so we went over to Chartier. I go, hey, what do you guys want to get? We're gonna pull. So just want to let you know, um, my wife and I decided to have a line item in our budget for tithes and offerings. So 10% of our whatever I make goes into line item for tithes and offerings. So we use that for many different things. Yes, we go ahead and support our local church. We don't give our local church the whole amount. We just have the money aside and use it for different things. Like we have a couple of kids in Ethiopia that we support and give their family them money so to help them too with their education and stuff like that. We also have a couple of missionaries that we support. So that's a part of our tithes and offering. We use this money for ministry purposes. And a part of that, which is kind of a loophole for me for allowing me to go out to eat because I don't get to go out to eat a lot. I use that money to pay for my or help um for the people I disciple. Sometimes we or in my small groups because it's quote unquote ministry activities. And so that can be used. I can use that money to do that. And so while we were so they were over to go ahead and help me out with moving because I'm moving today, officially today. It's gonna take me a couple weeks to move, and I'm glad I have those couple of weeks. Well, I have 3 weeks to move. So within those 3 weeks, I'm gonna be able to move. So 'cause I officially have to get out on the 8th. That's when my roommate officially moves. We're moving today because we got this is overlaps. So so we are moving today and we have 3 weeks to go ahead and move out. And so because I wanted because once we found out that we're gonna get the house, I'm personally like ready to go ahead and just let's go. Let's go ahead and start packing everything up and just going to go. And so we did our first initial pack, and what I did was I kind of packed up the main things that are gonna move from the garage. It's a lot. It was a whole trailer. My father-in-law has dad, my dad. My real father has lost the ability to be a father. So my wife's father is kind of like my unofficial kind of dad, sort of like, eh. And so we went out and anyways, so he came by and went ahead and we lowered the trailer and everything like that. When the guys are over there, I had to feed them first because they just came back from service, their own churches, and then they came to my house. And I had them, load up my truck with, the shelving that I'll use for inside the garage and a shelving for, like, books and stuff like that. I think I'm gonna be putting inside in the house somewhere. I do have to wipe them down because 'cause they're in the garage this whole time, but they're still decent shelving that I used initially when I was living in my own in a single? A bachelor? What is it called when you rent an apartment? It doesn't have a room, but it has a bathroom. Is that a single? Is that a bachelor? I think that's a bachelor. Anyways, even had one of those, pull down beds, which is called a shoot, Douglas? What are those beds called? You can tell me in chat. What are those beds called that pull down from the wall? There it is. Murphy. Murphy? Yeah, it's called a Murphy. Okay. I got it right before. It's called a Murphy. Isn't a Murphy isn't a Murphy when someone pulls up your pants? A Murph. A wedgie. I was right. Okay. I don't know when it just came up. It's been a while since I got a wedgie. Yes, I'm probably was a teenager when that happened. Actually, I don't know when it happened if it ever happened to me, if I got you. I digress. Are we far from what we're doing? Anyways, I'm using my funds to go ahead and what he did was, and we're talking about okay, going back to the original visceral. And we got the boba, went over to In and Out where one of my guys works, and it was kind of interesting because he positioned himself so he could, well, I guess I forced him to because I was sitting that way, that he could look at the counter where all of his coworkers are working, and I guess he liked the idea, or it was entertaining to him for him to watch from afar as he himself was not working, and the people that he worked with were working. I don't know. I understand the feel because I've done that before myself. Maybe you have too, where you're not working, but you show up at work and you're just hanging out there for some reason. I don't know why you would hang out at your work, but he works at a restaurant, so we just ordered fries and we had fries and boba for when and I paid for it because I can. It was in my line item. It is in my budget to do that. And so it's kind of a loophole for me to get some food while I'm going out because I don't go out a lot. Anyways, the visceral effect was as we are eating, one of the guys is really kind of I don't know. I don't know what to call it. Anyways, you know those little cups that that you put the ketchup in, he got the straw and was drinking out of it. I was like, ew, gross. And the other guy who's in my group, the one who works there, was looking at, what do you do? Are you drinking it? And he goes, are you drinking that? He goes, yeah, yes. And he almost like hurled, like threw up because he was having a visual response to, and he said, I would rather him drink blood, but him drinking ketchup was like, ugh. And yeah, there's some things that I do too. Like I see vomit, I'm like, I have a visceral effect. The visceral response to that is like inner, bleh. Maybe I'm an empathetic thrower upper. I don't know. I was like, "Oh." So, anyways, but for the verse 5 is basically wisdom shapes what a person loves and what they refuse. And if you're being wise, you literally are repulsed when someone is being deceptive or are lying. You're repulsed by that. And those people who do the lying and being deceptive, being destructive, and this is the wicked, obviously, contrasting wicked versus righteous. The wicked themselves are doing things that are shameful and disgraceful to other people, and they are bringing shame on themselves. And so, what this does it um, what this does is how people how you interact and how people see you. Uh, Basically comes from your orientation, the way in which you handle lies and deception and all that kind of stuff, and and then how you are as a person when no one's watching. Integrity. So if you're a person of integrity, if you're a person of doing what is right and doing good and being repulsed by falsehood and lies and deception and destruction and all that kind of stuff, people recognize it, and you are become a person of repute. But the opposite is true for those people who have deception on their shoulder. Hey, buddy, hey, I'm gonna lie. um they bring shame to people around them and to themselves. It's what it is. And I did talk about how when you do wrong, you are ashamed. And that's why at work, when you mess up, it really does kind of weigh on you, especially if you're a righteous person and you mess up, it's like, oh man, and you because you really and you know what? When you mess up, there's a visual effect of sadness or kind of like that it hits you when you mess up at work and you let down your friends or something like that, or your coworkers or your boss. It really does affect you. If you're a person of righteous and integrity and you mess up, it really does like affect you. And you want to try harder and you feel bad. Actually, really feel bad. But the wicked, they try to avoid it, or and because the wicked doesn't like correction, they kind of write it off like, ah, that's no big deal, whatever, like that kind of thing. Like they would write it off. And so this is the black and white of it. But living in the gray area, when you are integrity, I know there's this visual response for making a mistake or messing up. So we have a choice. This is where the gray area, because we since we're sinful, um, nature, because under Adam we're like that, and we're being sanctified daily as we're learning how to interact with our. When we mess up, we have a choice. Own up to the mess up and say you'll do better, even if you're feeling really bad and shamed, or be the wicked person and kind of like don't accept the correction and make excuses for it. That that is which is interesting. When you own up for the responsibilities, I think it's respective. I think it's respectful and people respect that. But when you don't accept responsibility, I think it lowers your reputation with other people. So I came to this idea a while ago and stuff like that, where I just kind of I don't take too long to just go ahead and say, "Yeah, I did. I'm sorry." Something like that. I don't know. That's verse 5. Yeah, I actually had a better time with verse 5 and then verse 6. So I will use my commentary mostly for verse 6. Righteousness guards him whose way is blameless. Let me look at it. Oh, okay. Integrity is preventable. Okay, so if you're if you are being righteous and you're being wise about your life, um, it actually it's all about integrity and the way you are living, and you're making choices that are right and not lying or being deceptive about. If you're doing all that, no one can blame you for things that are like bad things that happen because you're doing everything right. You're doing everything with really good intentions. If especially if your intentions is for, I guess, for work, is the betterment of the company and fulfilling your roles and duties and going beyond as a worker. Like for me, um, how could someone blame me when I'm working really hard to put lesson plans together, teach as much as I can, and I know I get that sometimes the laziness where we're all just being lazy and I'm just going on my phone, reading stuff, whatever, um, phubbing, which I shouldn't do, and my phone should be away. Yeah, there are times when I'm lazy and I do that and stuff like that because I'm not perfect and everything like that. I get tired, and actually, I really get tired of my first and second period. I love them, but I don't have a break from them. So I see them for 2 hours every day, nonstop. That's why I can't be an elementary teacher. I don't know if I'm a high school teacher. I'd probably get tired of kids if I'm with them all day long. It's tiring. It is tiring. So I'm with teenagers. What if I was with the same teenagers all day long? Jeez, that's crazy. Anyways, so if you're doing the right things, being a man of integrity, being truthful and honest and everything like that, you remain blameless. It's just the way it is. But sin, because you are uh, using lies, deceit, being deceptive, and seeking destructions of others, it literally you get what you are doing. So let me just see this. Oh yeah, and living lives like this, either being righteous or wicked, uh, there's long-term ramifications for it, especially in your relationships. And it takes a long time when you lose the trust of other people to get it back. It takes a while. And when you lie to someone, they don't trust you or talk to you in the same way that they used to because they realize that you cannot be trusted. Especially when they know that your personality and your character is very destructive, immoral and everything. It's really hard to find trust. But if you're seeing a man of good repute, of having good integrity and doing things that you're doing, you're a hard worker, being diligent in these matters, following the baselines that you can see in the description below. Um, yeah, people kind of look to that as being a source of confidentiality, and they could trust you with doing certain jobs and stuff like that. So I don't know. So I guess if I brought them together, yeah, bringing them together, yeah, your moral the things you choose morally is basically it's just long-term effects. Um and I would choose the way of righteousness, doing the right things. And when you mess up, yes, you'll be shameful, but a righteous person will go ahead and fess up to it. They will accept responsibility and tell people that, yeah, I'll try harder next time. Although they will lose reputation and trust because they messed up, but through determination, grit, and hard work, you can get that trust back. But if you're already working like that, then they know for a fact that you would kind of do that anyways. So and people like it when people are honest, kind, and upfront about things. And so that's kind of how you should interact with people, is being truthful about things. Okay. There's times for joking and stuff like that, but the general, I guess your mode of operation should be holding on to uh wisdom and doing the right things, having words that come out of your mouth that are encouraging and uplifting and are useful, and not deceptive and everything like that. So I'm going to keep on encouraging that in my son, of practicing using positive and kind words, especially to Olivia. I think that's a good goal to try to get him. Anyways, um, yeah, I'm 2 hours away from getting my house keys, and so I'm getting kind of excited for that. Anyways, I think that's all I have for now. Hope you enjoyed this time. I know I did. Thank you for commentary because I'm gonna need that when I am really lost for words on what to say for that one, and it really helps. So yeah, just want to let you know that preparation is pretty good. So this is Proverbs 13:5-6. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Wonder if I should do like music during this time. I don't know. Feels like it would work. Anyways.